Alright, so what is going on, everybody on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. If you're new to the channel, my name is Ryan and this is Gears and Games, where we talk all things about the car community. And today we're talking about the cars that have been absolutely ruined by TikTok. Now, if you're like me, then you probably spend way too much time scrolling on TikTok, but you're probably also a car enthusiast if you're watching this video. And you probably also know exactly what I mean when I say a car has been ruined by TikTok. I'm talking about the cars you see over and over again going viral. And in TikTok comments, the 15-year-olds are quick to say, this car is not better than this car. I'm talking about the people who think that the first car in this list is actually better and faster than a Bugatti. Which of course brings me to the first car in this list, which is the MK4 Toyota Supra. Don't get me wrong, I love this car. This is probably one of my all-time favorite cars. But that's probably because I grew up watching Fast and Furious on the little TV screen in the back of my uncle's minivan. But the kids on TikTok have absolutely ruined this car. This car is going for an insane price right now. And there's no way that any real car enthusiast can afford something like that. Because why on earth does a Toyota from the 90s cost more than a brand new Audi R8? And yes, it's a very historical car. It was the star of Fast and Furious, and it also was an insanely popular car in the late 90s when tuning and modifying cars was at an all-time high. But no, it is in fact not faster than a Bugatti, and it never will be faster than a Bugatti. And I was gonna say that I don't even know how 15-year-olds these days are geeking out over this car because they weren't even around when Fast and Furious released. But I'm not one of those older people who hate on kids when they're trying to get into cars, because I appreciate the fact that they even know what it is in the first place. And although the MK4 Toyota Supra is an insanely awesome car, it is very overrated. And that has a lot to do with how popular it got on TikTok. Side note here, TikTok's not the only one to blame, because Instagram and YouTube has done its fair share in making this car absolutely unattainable for any person my age who was born in or grew up in the late 90s. Yes, the 2JZ engine is legendary, and this car overall is an amazing car, but it's just not what the kids on TikTok hype it up to be. It's just a really great and pretty legendary classical car. But number 2 on this list is a car that 15-year-olds on TikTok made completely unattainable for rich people who don't even have the app. And that is the 992 Porsche GT3RS. Now, before I continue, I've got a confession to make. This is my favorite car. I know, I'm sorry, I got by the TikTok algorithm, but it's an amazing car. It really is, but it's not worth 500 grand. This car's MSRP is somewhere around 250K, but there's absolutely no shot that you're ever going to find one for that price. And that's because this car got so popular through social media that dealerships have now doubled, yes, doubled that price. And I am probably never going to be able to afford one. But what is it about this car that made it so popular? Because it's not the fastest car in the world. It's not even the fastest around the Nürburgring. But I think it just looks so damn good and is so different from the sharp angles that we're used to seeing from Lamborghinis. And also the fact that another fan base that we're gonna speak about later on in this video thinks that this car is the second coming of Jesus. Don't get me wrong, it's a great car. It's an awesome car, but it is not by any means the best car ever made or the best car even around a track. When I used to go to big car shows back in 2016, I used to see the last generation GT3RS everywhere. I mean, they were a dime a dozen. You would rarely see Aventadors, you would rarely see anything more exotic. All you saw was Porsche GT3RSs. And now, in 2024, God forbid somebody drives one on a street past a middle school, because all of the kids will be salivating through the window. I mean, if this car is your dream car, that's fine. It's one of my dream cars too. But in my opinion, it's just another really great supercar, and by no means is it the best car ever made. Number 3 is a car that just got legalized in the United States. Not that it was ever illegal, it just wasn't made here. And that is the R34 Skyline GTR. And of course, people on social media like to go around and say that this car actually was illegal in the US because of how good it was, when that's not the case at all. The R34 Skyline GTR just wasn't made in the US. It was only made in Europe and Asia, which means that since it didn't pass US safety regulations like crash testing and airbags, a US spec R34 GTR was never made, which means that it wasn't sold here in the US. So technically, yes, it was illegal here, but the TikTok kids seem to think that it was illegal because it was too dangerous or too fast. And before they were legal to be imported here, I used to see them at car meets once in a blue moon, and people would flock over to them, dying just to get a look at it. But it's just another classical car from the 90s. Although I will say it is very, very rare and very, very cool. But once again, hype is just hype. this car doesn't deserve all the clout that it gets on social media. And because of that, you could find these cars at a very insane price, as you could see on the screen. Number 4 on this list actually is an entire brand of cars. A car brand that, like I said earlier, thinks that the Porsche 992 GT3RS is the second coming of Jesus, and that entire brand is the BMW fanboys on TikTok. I own a BMW, so I see this firsthand. BMWs are not the best cars in the world. Although they have dramatically increased their reliability over the past few years, certain models of BMWs still aren't the most reliable cars out there. And I'd be lying if I said that I never had a problem with my BMW, because I have had 2 or 3 small ones, but still problems nonetheless. But yes, I do love BMWs and I love the entire brand, but I don't think that they're the best brand in the world. I think they do some things better than other brands, yeah, but other things they do worse, like designing, if you've seen the new BMW M5. But people on social media seem to think that BMW can do no wrong, and no matter what BMW you buy, it's going to be the best all-around car for whatever price range you want. And coming from a BMW guy, Mercedes is more luxury. American cars do, for the most part, sound better. And BMW is still a great brand, but it still has its downfalls, like the fact that they're trying to charge us for things like heated seats and adjustable high beams. And I mean like actual monthly subscriptions. So you can look at your monthly bills and say, oh, I paid the Netflix, I paid the car insurance, and now I'm gonna pay for my auto high beams from BMW. Owning a BMW doesn't come without its issues. And that's coming from a diehard BMW fan and owner. The next car in this list is about a comment that I am so tired of seeing, and that is the whole Civic with a laptop thing. I mean, just like 5 years ago, everyone hated Honda Civics. Everyone thought Civics were ricers and that they were always clapped out. But now the Civic with a laptop joke seems to be under the comments section of every car that takes a video of himself doing a pull. Nice 800 horsepower Mustang, man. Nothing a Civic with a laptop couldn't beat. I mean, come on, man. Most of these people don't know a dang thing about tuning. They just remember that scene from Fast and Furious that said danger to manifold and automatically think that every Civic carries around a laptop with them. And while the power to weight ratio of a Honda Civic with a K-Series engine in it is pretty insane, a Civic with a laptop or a tune isn't beating everything. I just want to know why the same people who were hating on Honda Civics 5 years ago are the same people who all of a sudden love them. I'm just so tired of seeing the whole Honda Civic with a laptop joke being used over and over and over again, especially because most people tune from an app on their phone anyways. I mean, nowadays you don't even need a laptop to tune a car, but I guess that's an argument for another day. And for the 6th and final car on this list, it's a car that I actually was gonna buy. A car that I actually think is really fun and really cool. And I'm so mad that TikTok ruined this car, because it literally doubled, even tripled in price. And that is the Mazda Miata, specifically the NA Mazda Miata. I think that car is so cool. It's manual, it's got the flip-up headlights, it's just so cute looking as well. But after 2020, when you know what happened and everyone was stuck inside, just collecting that unemployment money, a lot of people went ahead and bought one of these and started to make TikTok videos with it as well, and probably even went viral. But because it got so popular on TikTok, you can't even buy one of these for under 5 grand anymore. And if you do find one for 5 grand, it is going to be an absolute rust bucket. I tried buying one of these last year for 2 grand, and the guy straight up said, I know I posted it for 2 grand, but I want more. So obviously I didn't buy that. Then I found another one that was posted for 4K, and it turns out that the entire fender was painted over duct tape. In fact, it had a giant fist-sized rust hole in the side, which means that unless I wanted weight savings or a completely unstable chassis, there was no point of me buying this. So I gave up my search because they got absolutely ruined by TikTok. I mean, these cars used to go for like $1,500 to $2,000, and now you've got people saying, I know what I've got, no low ballers, which means that I might actually never own this car. So because of TikTok, once again, this car is insanely expensive. But I guess I'll just wait for the car trend of owning a Mazda Miata to die down, unlike the car trends in last week's video that I spoke about that absolutely need to die already. And if you made it this far into the video, then you might as well hit that subscribe button, because you obviously enjoy content like this. So make sure you come back every week to watch another amazing car video like this, because as always, my name is Ryan and this is Gears and Gains, and I will see you in the next video.